Have you ever taken a bite out of your favorite fast food and said, this is really good, but I think I can do better? That's exactly what happened today, and the end result is the most amazing chicken cordon bleu sandwich you've ever had in your life. And this is a brand new segment called Fast Food Flip, where we take popular fast food items, or even your favorite fast food items, and elevate them to Michelin star status, or at least that's the end goal. So if you like this kind of content, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Our first target of the year is Arby's, and we're making the chicken cordon bleu sandwich. There's a lot to this, so let's go ahead and get started.
As you may have guessed, this all begins with 3 boneless, skinless chicken breasts that we're going to trim up and cut in half, and after we're done filleting all of our beautiful chickies, we're going to take them straight to Pound Town and beat them down to about a thickness of 1/4 of an inch thick, or something that looks something like this, and then we're going to repeat this process for our remaining chickies until we have a nice stack of handsomely thin cutlets. And from here, we're going to start working on a simple but flavorful marinade for our cordon bleu chicken, which begins with 2 cups of buttermilk and a simple seasoning blend that consists of 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1.5 teaspoons of MSG, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and 1/2 teaspoon of mustard powder. And after everything is nice and combined, we're going to give our chickies the dunk. And then from here, we're simply going to let this chill in the fridge for about 4 hours or up to overnight. And while all that's happening, we're going to start focusing on our same day brioche buns, which begins with 250 milliliters of warm milk, roughly around 110 to 115 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we're going to drop in 50 grams of granulated sugar to feed that yeast. And then, as you may have guessed, we're going to go ahead and drop in 2 1/4 teaspoons or 1 package of instant or rapid rise yeast. And then after everything is nice and combined, we're going to set this to the side so it can bloom for roughly 10 minutes. And once everything is nice and frothy, we're going to drop in our stand mixer bowl 520 grams of bread flour. I know metric can be a bit confusing, but it's the only way to get consistently good results. Then we season with 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, and then we're going to drop back in our fully bloomed steamy milk mixture, and then we're going to combine that in until all of our flour is perfectly hydrated. And once that happens, we're going to drop in 2 large room temperature eggs, and once our eggs have entered the chat, we're going to bring this together by hand until something of a shaggy dough forms. And you guys may be wondering why we're doing this by hand since it's being mixed on the stand mixer. One of 2 things, guys. One, it's going to take some wear and tear off of your stand mixer until it gets it done a little quicker. Plus, we're not going to be kneading this once it comes out. And once we have a nice shaggy dough ball formed, we're going to take this to the stand mixer and let this go over a medium speed for about 10 to 15 minutes. I know this takes a while, but it is super important to develop the gluten structure before we start cutting in our butter. And speaking of butter, you need to be warned. Brioche uses hella butter, with a lot of traditional French recipes containing 70 to 90% butter. But most of the buns we get from the supermarket bakery only contain about 33%, which is what we're going to be doing today. So for this recipe, we're going to need 156 grams of softened unsalted butter. And after 15 minutes, we should have a nice tight dough ball like the one here. So over medium speed, we're going to start cutting in our butter, roughly 1 tablespoon at a time, making sure it's mostly absorbed before adding another one in. And we're going to repeat this process until we've used all of our butter. And don't worry if at about halfway through, your dough looks like it's starting to fall apart. That is totally normal. It takes a while for the dough to fully absorb all of the fat. And after we've used all of our butter, this is what it looks like, and it's not quite the sexy brioche we were hoping for. But don't lose hope, this is the way it's supposed to be. So from here, we're going to let this continue to roll at a medium speed for another 10 to 12 minutes. I know this sounds like a while, but this is going to allow the dough time to absorb all that fat and rebuild its gluten structure. Whatever you do, do not jack up the speed. It will destroy your bread. And after 12 minutes, we have a perfect brioche dough, so we're going to simply remove it from the bowl of our stand mixer into a clean mixing bowl that we're simply going to cover with a clean kitchen towel and allow it to proof under the light of my oven for an hour or until it's roughly doubled in size. And after an hour, we're going to plop out our perfectly plump brioche dough onto a very lightly floured work surface, and from there we're going to start working out all the air that's in it and then start to form it into a nice tight ball. And if you can't tell just from watching me work with it, this comes together with literally zero effort. This is one of the easiest, most satisfying doughs to work with. And after we've gotten it to a nice sealed ball, we're going to pat it down and then start to divide it into some portions. And for a nice, satisfying brioche bun, I'm going to be dividing this dough into roughly 4-ounce or 120-gram pieces. Guys, no one really wants to hear this, but buy a kitchen scale. They're inexpensive and they make a world of difference. And after we've divided all of our dough up, it's time to start rolling them into balls, starting by sealing up those corners and using that surface tension to roll it into a nice smooth ball. And once you have something that looks like this, we're going to repeat the process for our remaining dough pieces, and then we're going to place them back in the oven with the light on for another hour for their final proof. Fast forward an hour later and welcome to the Bun Show. Look at your boy flexing his buns. And also at this time, I would like to note that I've preheated my oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and while it's warming up, we're simply going to brush all over the tops of these buns with an egg wash that consists of 1 large egg and a splash of water. And from here, we're going to toss these in the oven so they can cook for about 20 minutes. And while those are going, let's work on our Cordon Bleu cutlets, which begins with 2 cups of all-purpose flour, a half a cup of cornstarch, and our Cordon Bleu seasoning, which consists of 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, 1 teaspoon of MSG, a tablespoon and a half of herbes de Provence, which you need for that classic Cordon Bleu flavor, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, 2 teaspoons of onion powder, and some fresh cracked pepper to taste. And then we're simply going to whisk this all together until all of those seasonings are thoroughly dispersed into our breading mixture. And then we're going to start streaming in a few good teaspoons of that marinade that we created earlier. And then we're going to combine all of that together and then face plant our fillets directly into that seasoned breading, making sure we're thorough to cover every nook and cranny of that chicken. We want no bald spots. And then after that, we're going to transfer our freshly breaded chicken onto a clean baking sheet and repeat this process for all of our remaining chicken breast. And at this point, our buns have been in the oven for about 10 minutes, so we're simply going to give it a turn so that way it can brown evenly on the other side, and we'll be back in about 10. And in the meantime, our fryer has been set to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to load a chicken fillet in each basket and drop it down for about 6 minutes, or until we achieve an internal temperature of 165 degrees or above, and then take a look at this beautifully crispy cutlet. Classic Cordon Bleu flavor in fast food form. So from here, we're going to repeat the process with the rest of our remaining chicken breasts, cooking for 6 minutes until they're golden brown crispy. And at this time, after we drop our second batch, our buns are ready to come out of the oven. And would you take a look at this? These are absolutely sexy, fully brown and full of butter flavor. I mean, come on guys, take a look at this. You're not going to find a better bun from any supermarket or local bakery. So, while we put that aside, we need to work on our Cordon Bleu sauce, which begins with half a stick of unsalted butter, and once that's melted, we're going to hit it up with half a cup of all-purpose flour, and then our seasonings, which consists of half a teaspoon of kosher salt, half a teaspoon of ground mustard, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and some freshly cracked black pepper to taste, and then we're simply going to cook this down for roughly about a minute to a minute and a half tops, or until we work out all that raw flour. And guys, this is a play on the traditional Cordon Bleu Bechamel. And if you're a real one, you'll remember about 2 years ago, I released a video on a more traditional Cordon Bleu. In that video, I said I really didn't care for the bechamel on the original version, but for the ultimate sandwich masterpiece, we need a sauce. So we're going to be adding milk in stages, and originally this was only supposed to take about half a cup of milk, but as you can see, this seized up rather quickly, so we're going to be adding in more gradually until we have a looser sort of sauce. And once we get it to a workable consistency, we're going to hit it up with about a teaspoon of lemon juice for brightness and some acidity. This is going to lighten the whole thing up. And then we're going to hit it, because this is traditional, with about roughly a tablespoon of freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. In a traditional Cordon Bleu Bechamel, Parmesan is always included, so we're doing it here. And then after all of that has been added in, we're going to continue to stir it to mix and combine. And as you can see, we are still definitely a little too stodgy to put on a burger bun. So we're going to continue hitting it up with some additional milk. And in total, I probably used about a cup and a half's worth of milk, so an updated recipe will be in the description. But once we get it to a nice pourable consistency, something like this, we are done. So let's move to assembly, which begins by splitting open one of these beautiful freshly baked brioche buns, and take a look at that fluffy interior. I don't know if you guys can sense my pride, but this recipe has literally been months in the making. So we're simply going to toast that off in a little bit of butter, and in the pan next to me I have some butter melting so we can crisp off some smoked ham. Now in a traditional Cordon Bleu, ham is inside of the chicken roulade, but we're going to be using it as a crispy topper for our sandwich. And now, On top of our freshly toasted brioche bun, we're going to come down with a light layer of that perfectly creamy Parmesan Cordon Bleu Bechamel, and then stacking high on top our perfectly cooked Cordon Bleu fillet with that perfectly melty Swiss cheese, and to top this all off, our crispy topper of freshly toasted Black Forest ham. And guys, if you thought this couldn't get any better, you are wrong, because we're going to be serving it with a side of my homemade Arby's seasoned French fries, which aired on this channel a couple years back, link in the description. And guys, this is it. This is the full Michelin star status of your own kitchen Cordon Bleu chicken sandwich.
Alrighty, here we are. We are at the end, and would you take a look at this beauty? I'm coming to you guys. This is the most amazing homemade version of the Arby's chicken Cordon Bleu sandwich that has ever been made. And we did everything from scratch, and now you have an incredible brioche bread recipe that you can make at home too. Super simple, and we served it up with these incredible straight version of the Arby's fries. And when I tell you guys that they hit the exact same flavor profile of those classic curly fries, I mean that sincerely. As always, I've got the link in the description to the original recipe, and I also have it written down in the description. But first, we have worked hours on this sandwich, so let's take a bite. Holy hell. Now look, I will be the first to say that people hate on Arby's unnecessarily. I don't know what's going on in y'all's towns, but the Arby's in my hometown right here, they have always been on it. I've never gotten a single bite of bad food or bad service, and my boys David or Jacob are watching. I love you guys, keep it going. But that being said, this totally beats the shorts out of Arby's. Now, if you have a little bit of time, you can do some of this the day in advance. Like, you can make a brioche the day before and marinate your chicken the night before, which is what I had planned to do. But there's a lot of things going on outside of YouTube that prevented me from doing it. But it is so worth it. This is literally the best version of this sandwich I've ever made. And this is like my third or fourth try doing it. And these brioche rolls are absolutely amazing. The one thing that I wanted to work on from the last time you saw these buns was to make them extra buttery, more brioche, because while the other rolls were great, it was just really missing some of that classic buttery brioche flavor. And by increasing the butter to 30%, that has fixed every problem. Same day brioche doesn't have to be bland or boring. Best brioche bread, hands down. I'm never buying brioche again. The better than Arby's straight fries. Super crispy, the exact same flavor. Again, guys, if you like this type of content, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. What fast food place do you want me to elevate next? Leave a comment below, and I'll try to get to as many of these as possible. Until next time, this is your boy, the Mad Chef, and I'm out.